Alright, welcome once again. This is Electro Toys from Boredom. Just kind of sitting around before work playing with my stuff again, and I thought I'd show what is one of my favorite introductory lessons when working with the Arduino, and specifically with LEDs. And this is going to be basically using arrays, and using an array inside the programming IDE to control a larger number of LEDs than just having to put in a line for each LED, which is, takes a lot of code, takes a lot of time. This is like an easier way to do it. So I started out, I've got my group of red LEDs here, and I've got a bunch of 330 ohm resistors hooked to them. Now with the LEDs, one of the most common things, and one of the things I always had to look up over and over and over again, was what is the anode or positive side to the LED, and which side is the cathode or the negative. And really, if you can remember this, which for some reason I don't always do, if you look at the lines on this LED, the pins, you got one that's long. Sorry about the sitting over the board there, harder to see, but you see there's one longer than the other. Pretty easy to see that. Well, the longer side is the positive side, and that's the anode. And the shorter side is the negative side, that's the cathode. So on the board here, just for the sake of ease, you'll see that I took all the cathodes, the negative sides, and put them into the ground channel on my prototyping board, and then hooked that channel to the ground pin on the Arduino. Is that the proper way? Is that technically the right way? Not really. And it's probably not even the best way to show people. This was just my quick and easy goofing off way of hooking it up as quickly as possible. And then I hooked my resistors obviously up to the anode side, the positive side, and used the size of those resistors to go ahead and bridge that channel between, so that way I could wire the pins numbers 2 through 8 on the digital side of the Arduino into this other channel here. So instead of jamming everything into that first or second bank of holes, I just bridged the gap and made everything a little more spacey and just easier for my big clumsy hands to look at. If I take a closer look at the actual board here, you can see where I've got them in, 2 through 8, and then there's the ground on top. So I've already written the code and loaded the code into this once. So I'm going to go ahead and power it up so you can see how it works and see it in action. I used one of the basic array tutorials as my start for this, and then just kind of mainly changed the timing on the codes. So here we go, I'm going to power it up. Alright. Oh, there we go. And as you see, we got a nice little sweep going. Now the speed of the sweep is set in a delay integer or a delay variable inside the programming code, which I'm not going to go into because that's a whole other issue. I mean, learning the ins and outs, all the different codings is a whole other idea. I mainly like just plugging stuff in and watching it light up or click or spin or whatever else. So, alright, so that is at a speed of 75. The default speed is 100, so it would be a slower movement back across. So just for fun, I'm going to unplug it, tweak the speed, reload the sketch into the board, and we'll see how it changes up. Alright, you can't see this, so it's not great video, but I'm going to go from 75 to 150, and then I'm just going to upload it over, and you should see a much slower speed. And it's got almost a different feel to it. And I just looked and saw it is completely skipping one of my bulbs. And that is because I put a pin in the wrong spot. This pin, I'm going to power this off, should be right into that slot. Now you may ask yourself, why is he doing this now and not just resetting and starting a video over? And because I just don't want to. There you go, it's that simple. And there we are, back and forth, back and forth. it's just kind of a fun little thing. I like messing with it, changing the speed. If you know how to set, if you set up a button to blink an LED from one of the early tutorials that I haven't shown yet, which is just bad on my part, you can use a button to start it, to stop it, things like that. Inside, you can change the array where it lists out what order it's blinking and then reversing. So you can have it go into the middle and out. You can do all, just get creative with that. You know, have some fun, play with the code, see what happens. As you saw, you know, mistakes happen and that's how you learn from them. So just keep poking around and have fun. Thanks for watching. You know, hope you go out there, have some fun, solder some stuff for the love of God, you know. Have some fun, do some making. And see you next time.